welcome to Wanganui in this traditional Boxing Day meet, which has now become Boxing Day and the day after. 2 days and a great variety of motorcycles and riders. The weather's been a bit up and down. We've had some rain and some shine. Most of the riders are getting used to it by now. Let's have a word with some of the old hands and see what they feel about this fabulous Wanganui circuit.
There's no other circuit like it. It's really quite tight. You've got to sort of stop very heavy braking, turn it and really gas it off the corners. It's like that all the way around. You've got the S-bends where it gets a bit flowing, but the rest of it's just stop, turn and fire it.
How do you approach it? Do you have to psych yourself up for it?
Oh, you do. It's all, you've got no moment's peace around here. It's all go the whole time, and it's very close to hay bales, lampposts, gutters. You've got plenty to watch out for.
Well, it's a very tricky circuit to get used to if you haven't been here before. It's got a lot of right-angle corners as well. It's been rather slippy. There's a lot of new bits of tar seal and some old polished bits of tar seal. I've ridden here since '76, I think was the first time I've ridden here. I've ridden here every year since. And the people that know the track definitely go faster than new guys here, and there are a lot of little secrets and bumps to it. But I think Wanganui is generally a safe track. It's just you've just got to know your limitations.
How do you personally prepare for riding here?
Well, I try and psych myself up to be as smooth and as consistent and flowing as possible. It's a very easy track to get out of rhythm and not stay smooth. And as soon as you get out of your rhythm of your riding, you tend to run wide and can't make the next corner, generally get a little bit unsure of what you're doing. So I just try and get myself set up to be as smooth and as consistent as possible.
A lot of it's psyching yourself up to the track. What I do is look over previous videos of the place to get yourself familiar how you're going to take the corners, how your lines will be if you're in traffic, because it is very different. You're on a free road, you take wide lines. You've got somebody behind you that wants to pass you. You have to take very protective lines, blocking lines.
Concentration is the watchword. There's such a short, tight circuit, but there's so much that goes on all the time, and really mentally you just got to concentrate very, very hard.
Probably the hardest thing to ride about Wanganui is the fact that every time you come here, although I've ridden here a lot of times, it is different. The council does a bit of work on a certain part of the road, and it's a lot different to what we were used to from the year before.
As we said to you, there's quite a variety of racing here and a variety of machinery. We'll be concentrating mainly on Formula 1 and Formula 2. Let's meet some of the leading competitors in Formula 1. Outright favourite for the weekend, Wellington's Bob Toomey on the modified GSX-R 1100 Suzuki, in top form and familiar with the Wanganui circuit on bike number 3. Toomey's former teammate Robert Holden's also well accustomed to Wanganui. He's not on a Suzuki this year, it's a Ducati Panther F1 Special, bike number 1. Back from England with the Grand Prix RS Honda, Richard Scott, dominant here last year and a popular pick to do it again. He grew up in the River City. He's letter A. Christchurch's Brent Jones also knows the circuit well. This year he's riding a standard GSX-R 1100 Suzuki in Formula 1. It's bike number 2. On bike number 111 from Wairarapa comes Aaron Slight, stepping up to the big time after a debut international season. He's on the Yamaha FZR 1000. Almost ready for a start now in the first of the Formula 1 races. You can see the circuit's a little wet on this side. It's actually dry on the other. Has been drying out in the space of about 5 minutes. We've had showers throughout the morning. Lap score is ready. We've got to start in Formula 1. Watch out for Bob Toomey, Robert Holden, Robbie Dean, Brent Jones and Richard Scott. They're likely to be the leading competitors, and already Toomey's away to a good start. Right behind him, Aaron Slade at this stage. Jeff McLaren up there. Scotty coming through. Circuit drying out very quickly indeed. Through to lap 1, and already Toomey has quite a margin. That's Robbie Dean up behind him. Brent Jones is up there. Scotty's coming through after a slowish start. Look at Toomey go. In superb rhythm already. Aaron Slide behind him, then Robbie Dean and Jeff McLaren behind him. McLaren doing well on the production bike. How long can he hold that place, though? Toomey has already pulled about 25 or 30 metres on Dean. Dean's an old hand. Around into the S section again. Circuit now fully dry. There's Toomey. There's Dean. And Robert Holden up there very quickly with Jones behind him. Then Aaron Slide between he and Brent Jones. Robert Holding riding extremely well on the Ducati Panda. He seems to think he'll have enough pace to get up with Toomey. He's got a ways to go yet. That's Toomey. Let's have a look at how far behind him Dean is. And Holden trying to get on his tail now. Holden's got to get past Dean first. There's McLaren. And he's through. Robert Holden is through to second place. Dean back to third. Then go back to Brent Jones and Richard Scott. Through the cemetery again on the cemetery circuit. See where it gets its name. Toomey well ahead. And with Holden having gone to join him, these two pulling out a little bit of a gap now. White flag in this first of the Formula One races on the last lap. Toomey looks like winning. Holden will be second. And if they stay upright, Robbie Dean. And then Brent Jones. Behind him, Richard Scott. Jeff McLaren sitting up still in sixth place. There's Scotty. Down to the finish line, and it's Bob Toomey, Robert Holden, Robbie Dean, and Brent Jones. That's the way they finished. And if you think they don't ride hard, just look at that.
I really enjoyed that. It's not very often you have a really good close race and have fun as well, but that one was one of them.
You were saying it would take you a little while to get used to that bike around here. It hasn't taken too long, has it?
No, I knew the first race to get stuck in. I started going reasonably well towards the end, but in the second race I was a bit more determined. I knew the bike a bit better, and I was ready to go a bit harder.
Bob, when he got under you at the Rose Garden, did you think you were going to get it back on the same lap, or do you think you had some work ahead of you there?
No, I saw Robert caught up pretty quickly. It actually surprised me when I had a bit of a look behind. But I knew that he'd be coming through sometime, and that's my wide line. So I figured, oh, well, he can pass me and we'll have a good race out of it, as we did.
Did you really expect that Ducati would be competitive with your bike here?
Yeah, certainly. I don't underrate anybody or any machine around here. Certainly Robert.
Anything that'll get out of corners quickly?
Yeah, I think my bike comes out of corners pretty good too, but with Robert's determination and the style of power that Ducati's got, he's right in there.
So the two of you racing wheel to wheel, you're quite comfortable obviously doing that.
Yeah, we've raced together for long enough. Like, it's not unusual. It's just, I think it's the first time I've ever had to have a race against Bob where I'm not on another Suzuki. And it's funny, like, trying to pass the Suzuki, which is a brand that I've been loyal to for the last 10 years. And even though it didn't actually stop me passing him, it still felt a bit strange at the time.
One of the fascinating classes here at Wanganui in recent years anyway has been Formula 2. It's a combination of racing bikes, production-based bikes and hybrids built up for the occasion. Also a combination of two-stroke and four-stroke. Let's meet some of our pre-race picks for Formula 2. Team Australia is a three-man lineup riding identical Yamaha TZ250s. Letter G, Darren Garrard. Letter M is Rob Miller. And letter D is Darren Milner. A busy man in several classes. Number 111, Aaron Slight, will ride the smaller Yamaha in Formula 2 and should benefit from the extra track time. First time on a competitive bike, the talented Tony Maxwell will be up front riding the Yamaha TZ250S. Keep an eye on the red number 15 machine. One of Wanganui's old hands, Paul Pavlitic, will be hard to beat with his circuit knowledge, aggression, and the Ducati BMS 600 Special, riding number 4. Another flying the Kiwi flag is the experienced TZ rider, Hamilton's Mike Webb. The bike's the latest Yamaha TZ250T, and he's wearing number 91. Ready for a start now in Formula 2. Leg 1 of Formula 2. 2 more to come tomorrow. They've got to start. Look out for Tony Maxwell, number 15, and Darren Garrard, letter G, and Paul Pavlitic. Pavlitic very much the man to beat on the Ducati. There he is. Mike Webb up there, Darren Garrard up there. Simon Turner back through with number 46. Glenn Williams trailing just a little in the early stage of this race. Give him time to settle down, but Paul Pavlitic is the man to get past. No shortage of fields in Formula 2. And Darren Garrard has done it already. On lap 2, he's passed Paul Pavlitic. 25 Dave Martin up in third place. They flash through, approaching the S section and through to the cemetery. There's Pavlitic. Darren Garrard behind him. Tony Maxwell. Dave Martin's up there. Simon Turner's up there. Formula 2 has always produced superb racing at Wanganui. Pavlitic back in front. Then Tony Maxwell, Darren Garrard, and Dave McLeod. Garrard back in front of Pavlitic. Simon Turner up there. Darren Miller's giving them a good run for their money as well. There's Aaron Slight, Simon Turner. Darren Milner just dropping back a little ways. Pavlitic and Garrard fighting it out. Garrard back in front of Pav. Pavlitic back in front of Garrard now. Dave McLeod giving them a good run in third place. There's Simon Turner. Glenn Williams dropping back, letter W. White flag, 1 lap to go. Tony Maxwell is in the lead. He was second. There's Darren Garrard. There's Paul Pavlitic and Mike Webb behind him. Looking like a victory for Tony Maxwell. He rocketed from third up to first and got past Garrard and Pavlitic. Coming down to the line, it'll be Tony Maxwell, Darren Garrard, Paul Pavlitic, and then Mike Webb. That's the way they finish at M2. Always a favourite here with the crowd and the sidecars. They're very spectacular to watch. The swinger or passenger has a lot of movement in the space of this circuit, but occasionally they can come on. The reason being that they are more susceptible to a greasy or previously wetted surface than the two wheels, because they have three and they steer a little more like a car than they do a bike. Some excellent rigs here and a good variation in power plants. Leopard and Gooden, Kippen and McQueen, Beresford and Stir, some of the old rigs here. Howard and Price. Whoa, and off there for Steve Taylor and Graham Wilkinson. That's the Yamaha FZR 1000 rig. Just showing how easily they can go round, trying to get a restart. Gregory and Price, another of the very experienced crews here. That's Beresford and Stir leading Leopard and Gooden and Kippen and McQueen. Kippen and McQueen. The late braking. Really is a very exciting circuit for these sidecars. Round to the bridge to start at the start-finish line. Still Leopard and Gooden trailing Beresford and Stir. And watch the approach to this bridge. Oh, straight through, and that's our camera position. Andrew Scribner and Steve Bryan it was on the Kawasaki 1100 power machine. Crew look all right. The bike's a bit of a mess. I think that's our sound operator. Some discussion. Not a good way to end today's racing. Day 2 at Wanganui and riders briefing.
They're empty and not topped up. Your stewards remain the same. Your riders remains the same. Your flags remain the same. And have a good day's racing. Thank you.
Always has been a very friendly meeting, a nice place to be with bike racing. Plenty of interested spectators. All welcome on the Wanganui circuit. Bike enthusiasts of all kinds. One of the truly amazing things about motor racing in New Zealand is that unlike Europe and Britain, where it is very professional and sometimes a bit standoffish, it's very friendly, the atmosphere in the pits and all around New Zealand motorcycle racing circuits, but particularly in Wanganui. Two people we spoke to who can emphasise that for us are both journalists, and both of them British.
Well, I think that the thing that impresses me most about racing over here is the atmosphere. It's incredibly friendly, and I think the way Grand Prix racing probably was about 10 or 15 years ago, although I wasn't involved in it then. I think people here are prepared to help their rivals. all the competitors get together in the evening for a social. That sort of thing sadly doesn't happen much anymore in Europe. Everybody tends to disappear into their motorhomes at the end of the day or back to the five-star luxury hotel.
They certainly seem to be a much more gregarious bunch, don't they?
Certainly, and I would say just as hard riding, if not more so, than people in Europe.
Are you surprised at the talent that's here?
No, because I mean, there is talent here, but I'm not surprised about it because I've followed the New Zealand and Australian scene for quite a few years. I think there must be a factory somewhere in Australia or Kiwi land that produces brilliant motorcycle racers at the rate of about one every 2 months.
At the Grand Prix, most of the teams spend their lives zippered up in their tents with their multi-million-dollar secrets, you know, slaving away, burning the midnight oil, fettling them till sort of the early hours of the morning. And here, it's much more relaxed. People are out in the open, lend each other tools, lend each other advice, help each other along. And then, of course, in the evening, everyone gets together for a bit of a laugh and really enjoy their racing. Of course, the people treat it seriously here, but there's the time to enjoy yourself as well.
I must say that this is one of the world's greatest circuits, and that may sound surprising because it's not on the Grand Prix circus, but I like all kinds of circuits. I like the Isle of Man, I like Spa-Francorchamps, I like modern purpose-built circuits like Ricard, and I like Wanganui.
I love the racing scene here. People are so friendly, and yet it is very competitive.
This circuit, is it going to be a lot better today with a little less changeable weather?
I think everybody's attitude to racing has changed today because, you know, there's no worry about is it going to rain, what tyres do I put on, you can just get on with riding. And of course the tremendous downpour we had yesterday really cleaned the surface, and I think it's made it very tractable, and we should see some real fast times.
Must echo the sentiments of the two previous gentlemen. Always a superbly friendly atmosphere, but it doesn't affect the racing. It's still very, very tough out there, the way they race around here. Very aggressive riding from those that win here. Ready for a start in F2, leg 2 of Formula 2. The fire crew are ready. The starters ready. Watch for Mike Webb, Dave Martin, Tony Maxwell, Darren Garrard. Paul Pavletich up there as well. Into the first corner, it's Mike Webb who's got the jump. Mike Webb, the whole shot. Tony Maxwell's up there in third place. Craig Barron in second at the moment. Filing through over the railway line and approaching the S section. Mike Webb comes through first. Big fields for Formula 2 and a good mixture of machinery. Mixture of two-stroke and four-stroke, racing bikes, production-based bikes. Mike Webb away with a good lead at this stage. Always been a good rider of TZs, Mike Webb. Hamilton rider. They all file through. Look at Mike Webb, he's flying. Craig Barron behind him. Dave Martin is up there and Tony Maxwell too. Oh, look at the lead that Webb has now. Still Craig Barron behind him. Tony Maxwell in third place at the moment. But Webb is flying. Just see if they can catch him. Tony Maxwell has been the man in form, certainly in practice times in the early race, along with Dave Martin and Darren Garrard, the Australian, letter G. So look for numbers 91, 25, 15, G, and 46, Simon Turner. Here's letter G, Darren Garrard, who's getting quicker as the day goes on. Mike Webb. Second place at the moment, Dave Martin on the Honda CBR 600. Very quick little production bike. Webb leading Martin from Maxwell. Those three go through. Behind them is Simon Turner. Darren Garrard picking up places with every lap. Oh, Webb's lead has really come down as they come down to the start-finish line. Webb, Martin, Maxwell, Garrard.
Mike Webb and Dave Martin, what a superb ride by him. He charged through, he took the lead, and then as Houston put it to Neil almost. It was a big off over the next.
Formula One, the big boys. Bob Toomey, outright favourite. Aaron Slide had a fall in the last race. Has a bit of a nosebleed. Won't worry him too much. Really come on this year, Aaron Slide. Last minute top up for Bob Toomey, just to make sure that tank is full. Some high tech to record his performances. Two old hands, Glenn Williams and Bob Toomey, a little bit of a chat as they come out off the dummy grid for Formula One, leg 2. Bob Toomey really is the man to watch. Robert Holden on the Ducati, Richard Scott on the RS Honda, Brent Jones on the GSXR, Aaron Slight and Robbie Dean. Starters ready. Watch who gets the jump. Good start from Scotty, but it's Bob Toomey powering up there with Glenn Williams into the first corner. Toomey already with the lead. Glenn Williams behind him. Approaching the railway line. Williams got an excellent start. Scotty's not far back either. And Robert Holden is well positioned. He's back in about 4th place at the moment. There's Glenn Williams pulling a wheelie. Robert Holden not getting an excellent start. Back just a little ways. Here's Toomey. Scotty behind him, then Aaron Slight. Williams, then Robbie Dean. Toomey well ahead. Richard Scott on the Grand Prix Honda. Aaron Slight still holding 3rd place ahead of Robbie Dean. There's Scotty. Aaron Slight, Dean. And already Robert Holden is up to 4th place. Holden really is the man who can challenge Bob Toomey here. Bob Toomey's form has been superb. Oh, bit of a moment coming out of that corner for Bob Toomey. Scotty still 2nd. And I think Robert Holden is up to 3rd place now. As they file through into the S section, coming out of it is Toomey. Somebody pulling up there. Here's Toomey. Just look at the gap. Back to Richard Scott. And I think Holden is up to 3rd place now. Holden going through in 3rd place. Toomey, Scotty, Robert Holden. Look how much Robert Holden has made up. Trying to go through on Scotty, but he couldn't get under him. Circuit really has got quick after the downpour. And Holden is up to 2nd place. But I don't think there's enough time for him to get close enough to Bob Toomey. Toomey on this modified GSXR has really been in superb form. A great battle going on between Holden and Scott for 2nd place. But I don't think either of them's going to catch Bob Toomey. There's Robbie Dean, the bike looking decidedly second-hand. He's been off. Toomey, Holden, Scott, Jones, Slight is the order at the moment as the race comes to a close. Formula One, leg 2. There's Toomey, there's Holden, Scott behind them. Toomey seems to have control of the race. Toomey, Holden, Scott. The white flag being held out for the slower competitors. The checkered will come out in a moment. They're on the finish lap. And it'll be Toomey, Holden, Scott. The order stays the same from the previous lap. That's the way they finish. Bob Toomey, Robert Holden, Richard Scott, Brett Jones and Aaron Slight in Formula One, leg 2. An excellent race on what has become a superb circuit surface later in the day after a downpour. Plenty of crowd enjoying it here.
Well, the junior production field down now onto the grid, waiting for the clerk of the courses car to come around to get everyone back from their positions. To get a very big crowd over this side of the circuit as well, enjoying some superb racing here this afternoon in conditions that we normally associate with the cemetery circuit at this time of the year. It's David Martin in the all-white leathers. Of course, we watch the fielders drive away from us here. There's the flag. Dave Martin runs out towards the far side of the circuit.
And a huge wheelie being pulled by Glenn Williams, but it didn't get him the whole shot. That's Dave McLeod who gets into the corner first. Dave Martin with him, and Glenn Williams dropping back just a little. Williams gets to 3rd as they get into the 2nd corner, or is it 4th? Dave Martin, number 25. Dave McLeod, 22. Glenn Williams, letter W. Glenn Williams on the Kawasaki GPX 600. Not quite as quick as the Honda production bike 600. So Dave Martin and Dave McLeod, the man to beat on the CBR 600 Hondas. Martin leading McLeod. Williams up in third place now. Got pushed back to fourth on the first corner, but he's worked his way back up. Junior production, always good close racing. These CBR 600 Hondas are just so quick for little production 600 bikes. Dave Martin, followed by Dave McLeod, Glenn Williams, then Grant Tunbridge. Chris James is up there, Sean Donnelly's up there, Mike McCutcheon. Here's Dave Martin to just look how far he's got away already from Dave McLeod. And Williams really struggling to stay with the Hondas on the Kawasaki. That's a pretty comfortable lead for Dave Martin. He's really going to have to make a mistake for either McLeod or Williams to catch him. Martin through. McLeod and Williams on his tail. Williams riding the seat off this bike. Trying to get under McLeod on the brakes, can't do it. Dave Martin into the front straight again. Looking over his shoulder. He knows McLeod's a long way back. Williams in third place, but he can't get past McLeod. Tunbridge in fourth, Chris James in fifth, Sean Donnelly in sixth, and Mike McCutcheon seventh at the moment. Normally closer racing than this, but Martin really has this one sewn up. There's McLeod, there's Williams on his tail. Chris James behind him. Dave Martin wins the junior production race from Dave McLeod, Glenn Williams and Grant Tunbridge. It's the way they finished in junior production.
Then we'll see 92. Grant Tunbridge will go through and take the checkered flag.
Out off the dummy grid for Formula 2, leg 3, the last Formula 2 race of the meeting. It'll be intriguing to see here if Darren Garrard from Australia can get past Paul Pavlitic and Tony Maxwell. He's got quicker as the day has gone on. Some people not all that interested. Flag marshals are ready, the starters ready. The last Formula 2 race, they're away. Let's see who gets the jump into the first corner. Paul Pavlitic it is. Dave Martin up underneath, and Darren Garrard going round the outside. That's a good start from Garrard. Pavlitic, Garrard, Martin, Barron, Maxwell. Simon Turner's up there as well on bike number 46. But I got a feeling this battle's going to be between Darren Garrard and Paul Pavlitic. Pavlitic, Darren Garrard, Dave Martin, Tony Maxwell. Pavlitic with quite a good lead there at the moment. Garrard's got his work cut out. He'll take different lines on the racing machine than Paul Pavlitic will take. The distinctive four-stroke sound of Paul Pavlitic's Ducati. Oh, Garrard having a go there. Still Martin and Maxwell behind them. Letter M, Rob Miller from Australia. Here's Pavlitic, and have a look at Garrard and how close he's getting. Having a go at him down the front straight. Pavlitic has got the better line into the corner. But Garrard is right there with him. Hard work for somebody like Garrard to learn this circuit, having never been here before. Over from Australia. And he keeps getting quicker with each race. This may well be the one for Garrard to do it over Pavlitic. who's dominated Formula 2. Pavlitic still leads. Garrard really on his tail now, having a go every lap. Then Martin, then Maxwell. '46 Simon Turner there in 4th place. Still this race up front between Pavlitic and Garrard. Turner in 3rd. Down to the Rose Garden. And Garrard has done it. He's passed Pavlitic. Darren Garrard of Australia past Paul Pavlitic. Maxwell's 3rd. Martin is 4th. Look at Garrard trying to hang on to that lead as Pav comes down and has a go at the inside, but he's not quick enough into that corner. Garrard still from Pavlitic, from Maxwell, from Martin. Well, Paul Pav is not going to give it away. A very aggressive rider and a very experienced F2 rider here at Wanganui. He loves the circuit, and he has had it all his own way earlier in the day. There's Garrard. Pavlitic. Not that far behind him, but not close enough to do anything about it. Garrard seems to be in control. Garrard, Pavlitic, Maxwell, Martin, Barron. Not quite as close as we've seen in previous years with Formula 2, particularly on this circuit, which is very much a horsepower and brakes circuit. You've got to have that drive out of corners. You can't always take the lines you'd like to. Paul Pavlitic still trying hard. There's Maxwell, there's Mike Webb, Aaron Slight. Dave McLeod up there in good position as well. Just a couple of laps remaining. Garrard now starting to pull away from Paul Pavlitic just a little. Garrard, Pavlitic. Paul Pav really wrapping on the power, really trying very hard. There's Simon Turner. Another excellent rider. He's a little bit off form this season. He's a broken scaphoid bone. It gives him some pain. A white flag this time. Darren Garrard, Paul Pavlitic, Tony Maxwell, Dave Martin. There's Simon Turner. Oh, hard luck for Simon Turner, having some difficulty holding on to the bike, riding with that injury. That's sad. He was doing well. Talented young rider. But Garrard still in the lead from Paul Pavlitic. Maxwell now takes 3rd and Martin 4th. This is Garrard on his last lap. Hear the distinctive 4-stroke sound of Paul Pavlitic's bike. So it'll be checkered flag this time. Checkered flag comes out for Darren Garrard. Paul Pavlitic 2nd, Tony Maxwell 3rd, Dave Martin 4th, and Craig Barron 5th. Where they finished in F2.
I feel as though I got to learn the circuit really good. So I thought it would have taken a while, but I adapted to it pretty well. Yeah, I was pretty pleased with my effort.
How frightening was this circuit when you first saw it?
Oh, it didn't appear to be really frightening to me. I just felt like I couldn't really ride to the limit.
Darren Garrard of Australia very happy with his win in F2 as we line up for the final race of the day, the big F1 race, and Bob Toomey has been the informed man and the man to beat. Let's see who gets the jump into the first corner. Bob Toomey in the middle. He's down to the corner first. What a superb start. Brent Jones behind him. Then Holden, Robbie Dean, and Richard Scott. All safely away into the first corner. Toomey already in the lead and dominating. Robert Holden, Richard Scott, Brent Jones, Robbie Dean, the men to watch. They have been the dominant people in F1 today. There's Toomey, Jones behind him, Holden coming up on Jones and Dean behind him. Toomey has just been so smooth. He has been in superb form, and the bike is obviously excellent. Oh, awful moment there. Mike McCutcheon, I think it is. On the Ducati, he's away again. It's a nasty place to have an off if you're going to have one. Still Toomey, Jones, Holden, Dean, Scott. I don't know what they can do to beat this man, Bob Toomey. He must be getting tired. He has ridden in so many races. I think this is his 9th or 10th race of the weekend. Toomey, Jones, Holden, Dean, Scott, and McLaren and Slight. That's the order. Clem Williams back a little ways. Here's Toomey. Here's Holden right up on him. He's through on Jones. Jones still just ahead of Robbie Dean. And Dean ahead of Richard Scott. Absolutely amazing, the results that Robert Holden has managed to get out of this F1 Ducati. A totally different bike that he's accustomed to riding, and he really has got to grips with it so quickly as Bob Toomey dominates out in front. The only man really who's challenged him closely has been Robert Holden. He's getting close enough to do something about it. Whether or not he can get past is another story. Toomey still seems to be well in control as Holden determinedly chases his tail. Brent Jones on the production bike doing well, and Robbie Dean with the bike looking decidedly second hand, keeping 4th place. Richard Scott a little disappointing in this race. We'd seen Richard Scott last year on a similar bike come through from the back to eventually dominate the races, making it interesting coming through the field, but he hasn't really been able to get with it this time. McLaren's still sitting there ahead of Aaron Slight. As the rest of the field files through, Clem Williams pulls another wheelie. Toomey, and look at how close Holden is now. Jones. Dean on the dented-looking bike, and Scotty behind him.
Round the outside, does Holden go? Toomey just slides away.
Holden has to go on the outside, but he can't do it. He was on the wrong line to do anything about it there. Toomey stays in control, but Holden chasing him very, very close indeed. These two know each other so well, and they can ride close without any fear of danger to either one. Bob Toomey really has blossomed this season. Oh! Robert Holden having a go right on the outside. Toomey just gets back in front again. It was a difficult line for Holden to try and get past him. My, is he trying or what? Toomey, Holden, still Brent Jones from Christchurch in 3rd place. Scotty's ahead of Robbie Dean. A titanic battle between these two in front. The old mates, Bob Toomey and Robert Holden. Holden not close enough to have a go at the outside that time. Toomey still in charge. The white flag out on the last lap. Toomey, Holden. If he hasn't done it in the last 10 laps, he's not likely to. Robbie Dean. Getting through some back markers. Oh, he didn't see which way they went. Toomey goes inside, Holden goes outside. And down to the checkered flag this time, Bob. Oh, look at the moment for Robert Holden once again. Riding right to the limit. Toomey, Holden, Scott, Jones, Dean is the order they finish in. Robert Holden trying everything in his power to get past his old mate Bob Toomey, but Toomey stays in charge. Toomey has dominated Formula One the entire day, a superb riding performance. Robert Holden 2nd in that race, Richard Scott 3rd, and Brent Jones 4th.
Almost a perfect record out there, Bob. You must be liking this circuit this week.
Yeah, well, I do enjoy Wanganui. It's something, there's a few street circuits I do like, some I don't, but Wanganui I really get into it and enjoy it.
Got a bit of opposition there from your old mate on the Ducati. He wasn't getting quite as close today as yesterday.
Oh, I think he was there all the time. Like, I knew he was there. He was haunting me, I felt that towards the end he'd get past me when I was getting a little bit tired, but the last 3 or 4 laps I started blocking, like I started riding in the middle of the track where I know that he needs to use wide lines, and I think that perhaps held him out.
How much pressure?